Welcome everybody to another episode of the Very Funny Podcast. Gather round. We are about to begin. Waiting for everybody to get situated. We are about to begin. Just making sure that Twitch is working correctly before I send out. No, it isn't. As always, we got to restart it a couple of times. I'm about to send out the notifications to let everybody know we're good to go. But let's make sure that we get Twitch in order first. So everybody, welcome. We got special guest, the legendary, the iconic, the one, the only, Kattan is going to be with us in just a bit. So don't miss out. That's coming your way in about 30 minutes from now. So right now, just making sure that we got Twitch on point. Let's take a look here. No, not yet. We restart Twitch yet again. Everybody come on in. Yemen, how's it going? Joining us, first commenter. Yemen, nice. Well done, brother. Right here on YouTube. Johnny Saad, how's it going, man? Is this the same Johnny Saad who won the gaming night Twitch the other day? Yet again. Let me know if that's you. It would be cool to know that you're here with us. Hanadi, how's it going? Welcome to everybody who's joining us from Australia, from America. This is a great time. Awesome. Twitch is working. Let's go ahead and send the notification on WhatsApp. Boom. 1. And then that. So if you guys ever want notifications, you can add my WhatsApp number right there. It's on the screen. And I will send you a notification every time we get live. Alternatively, you can also join our Discord community right there. And that will also tell you when we go live. So it's all good times on all these live platforms. How's everybody doing? Yaman, Russia, how's it going? Kinza, good morning. Abu Layla, how are you? Caroline Bijani, missed you as well. Welcome, everybody. How about I play some tunes while you guys gather around and get comfortable right here before we bring up our guests, start the monologue. We're going to have a great time. Today, we have the honor, the privilege, and the amazing opportunity to spend some time with the legendary, the one, the only Kattan. This is his book, Baby Don't Hurt Me. It's his memoirs. They are absolutely fascinating. This man has had a big influence on my life as a comic, as my career, and my overall happiness with his movies and what he does. So it's really a big honor to be with him today and to be able to talk to him. And I'm very, very excited. So I hope you guys are just as excited for that as well. Let me unmute the my guitar is muted, and let's play some tunes, man. Let's. What's up, the Prince? How's it going? Abu Layla, everybody gather round. No backing track. I'm just going to play some very soothing melodies for you guys. As you guys get situated, shout you out. Jason Steve joining us from Australia. How's it going? Tracy Shamroon, how are you? Noor Bizri, beautiful people. Ahmad Lawad, how's it going? Bob Marley? I don't know how to play any Bob Marley, man. I should learn some Bob Marley. You play the one we love? Which one do you love? I think there's several. Kathy, how's it going? Love the sound of this guitar. I never thought I would be awake at 5 a.m. watching Nemr play the guitar. That's incredible. You're up at 5 a.m.? That's insane. Rafe, this is a Washburn. This is my favorite guitar, tone-wise. Carla is up at 5 in the morning. This is crazy. Crazy. Eden Ray in the house. What's going on? My sister's here. Maria Abu Nassar. Tracy Shamoun. How you doing it? We need the presence of the great Eunice in the podcast. Eunice will be in the podcast as of next week. That much I can tell you all right now. Luffy, what's up, man? How you doing? Kinza, Tavia, how's everybody doing? We're about to start the episode right now. Pretty much everybody's getting situated, and that's what I like to see. So making sure everybody's comfortable and ready for the show before we start. That sounds, how about some Highway to Hell? I wish I knew how to play it, man. I don't know. Ryan Hamdan, there's your shout out, my friend. Right then and there. I always thought this sounded like somebody was laughing. I used to do this thing where... Doesn't that sound like somebody's laughing? Sounds like somebody's laughing at the ha 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 ha. All right, guys. I hope you guys are ready for us to start the show. I think it's time. Albersozix, thank you for the follow. And it's interesting that we got on our when somebody follows, you see Wayne and Garth from Wayne's World headbanging, and Wayne's World was a sketch that was created on Saturday Night Live. Today, our special guest, let me take that off right now because we are starting. Our special guest is Chris Kattan today. Saturday Night Live alum, comedy icon, legend, one of the best physical character actors of our generation, and just an incredible man, incredible story. His memoir, I highly recommend it. It's called Baby Don't Hurt Me. If you guys know the song, what is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. That song is, I think, was made popular to Americans in the movie Night at the Roxbury with Chris Kattan, our guest, and Will Ferrell. But that song was big in the Middle East. We knew that song. And that kind of bubblegum pop, bubblegum techno, I think is what they called it, was huge because in Europe that they had that stuff. You know, and with the synths and everything. And in that movie, kind of popularized it for people in America, which was really cool. So the thing is, and I want to talk about today, what I wanted to talk about before I bring our guest on, which is going to be in about 20 minutes. I wanted to talk about comedy. You know, I've talked about a lot of stuff here, but I kind of want to talk, and I want to look into the comments section and get your feedback on some of the questions I'm going to ask you in a bit. And somebody's asking if Chris Kattan is Lebanese. No, he's actually his father is Iraqi Jewish, and his mother is, I believe, Hungarian. Which explains his very good looks. So comedy is very interesting, I think, for all of us. I might sound a bit, comedy for me is obviously a very powerful thing. When I was 5 years old, I was living in San Diego. I was a young child. And we had fled Lebanon because of the war in 1984, I believe we left. And when we came to America, it wasn't by choice. Not that America's a bad country. It's just there's a difference between when you leave a country because you want to and when you leave a country because you have to. If we were coming to America to seek better opportunities just because, I think it would have been joyous. But because it was kind of like we were driven out of the country by all the unrest, my parents we're like, we need to give our kids a better, more stable life. I think it was why. And what's interesting and a bit strange about that is I have no early memories of like happiness. When we first came to America, it was a very depressing time. My parents were very, very sad. They weren't happy. Ahmed Tommy, thanks for the follow. They weren't happy. They were upset all the time. And I didn't know why. I didn't understand war. I didn't know anything. And then one day I remember hearing my parents laughing uncontrollably from their bedroom. And I was 4 years old, or 5 at the most at the time. And I make my way into my parents' room and I see them sitting on the bed. And my father, I don't remember my dad laughing before this. Tears coming down his face, wiping his face. I thought he was crying at first, laughing, almost falling off of the bed. Him and my mom, I can see it like I was there, laying down on the bed, watching TV, laughing. My mom, my dad, and my mom, I love her so much. When she laughs from her heart, it always ends with a, like a, it's just like she can't breathe anymore. And my mom was out of breath, and my dad, and they were laughing, and I jumped into bed with them, and I started laughing with them. All right? Usama Turk, how's it going? I love Montreal. I love everybody there. I started laughing with them in bed. I had no idea what was going on. I didn't understand the jokes that were on TV. They were watching a comedy special. My dad had just discovered stand-up comedy. He'd never been exposed to it. My mother, who had grown up in London, knew stand-up, but my dad didn't. So he was just, I think when you see stand-up for the first time, if you see amazing stand-up, it blows your mind that this thing exists because it's so good. And I sat down with my parents in bed and I just started laughing with them. And then my sister jumped in, and that energy, I wanted that energy. I wanted that in my life, because when we were watching comedy, and what my dad started doing is he started recording cassette tapes of these comedy shows. HBO would have this show where they bring a bunch of comedians on. Dana Carvey hosted one. My dad recorded it. And Manal513, thanks for the follow. And I started watching with my family, and my family would get together around comedy movies, comedy shows, and we would all laugh together. And for that hour, 2 hours, the worries would disappear. The pain would disappear. And it was just beautiful. It was just love. And ever since I saw that, and especially the Dana Carvey set, I would tell everybody, when I grow up, I'm going to be a Ninja Turtle or a stand-up comic. That was always the goal. I'm either going to be a Ninja Turtle or a stand-up comic. And Johnny Saad is saying most of us have similar stories, Nimr. That's sad. It is sad because we all have been displaced by war. But it's hopeful because we know that pain, and hopefully we can make the world a better place so that our kids don't have to go through it. So I wanted to be a part of that energy. And my whole life was about comedy. I would recite that Dana Carvey set all the time. The Dana Carvey set was about George Bush Sr. when he went to the Japanese or Chinese president and he threw up on him, which is a true story. But he had this whole thing where he's like, where the Japanese president looks at him and he goes, "You look like you're going to blow chunks." And then George Bush is like, "Not gonna do it." And then he's just vomiting. And then Dana Carvey's like, everybody started running around like, "Gojira, Gojira." And it was like this physical, I haven't seen this set in maybe 25 years and I still remember it. It had such an impact. And I would recite that to everyone and say, one day I'm going to be a stand-up comic or a Ninja Turtle. And then my parents, if you saw the previous episode with Bassem Youssef that aired earlier this morning, and I really encourage you to see it because it was one of the greatest episodes we've ever had on this show. We were talking about the absurdity of Arab parents who, for selfish reasons, will take their kids back home to instability because they're convinced it's better than the stability in the U.S. So for the reasons we came to the U.S., we left the U.S. My parents were like, it's too stable here. Everything's given to them. They're not going to learn how to really live in a tough world because you see, Arab parents and ethnic parents only know hardship. You know, when I was your age, I used to walk to school barefoot and they would, the enemy, the Israeli, he would throw the bomb at me. It would come down from the skies. I would grab the bomb and throw it back at him and say, not today, I have to study. And then walk to school for 40 more kilometers. And then I would study, and then I would walk back, and I was number one in the class. So all they know is just hardship and struggle and just, and they believe that to raise you right, the only way to do it is if you know how to live in only that environment. So that's what I ended up having to do, right? My parents brought us back to Lebanon 92, my sister and I. We go back to Lebanon. It's a true story, guys. I see you reacting in the comments. It really is it. And we go back, and there's no stand-up comedy. Hell, there's barely electricity in Lebanon. When we first got back to Lebanon, I tried to plug in my Nintendo. It was NTSC, and Lebanon is part of European PAL system. I didn't know this. You just put it in and it's all flickering, and I couldn't play Super Mario Brothers. And I'm like, what is this hell you have brought me to? It was just like the worst thing. And I think the most heartbreaking thing was I didn't have access to comedy, right? You could get a Chicago Bulls game. You could watch Tyson, but there wasn't stand-up. HBO wasn't there. It was gone. I found a stash of my mother's cassette tapes from when she was a child in London recording comedians. And I started to listen to these tapes. That's why I have a very old school style of stand-up. And I didn't know who these comics were. They didn't have names. They were just cassette tapes with voices saying funny things. I later found out I was listening to Lenny Bruce, Woody Allen, incredible comics. Some I don't even know to this day who they were. And that was my source of stand-up. I was going back in time. So I went from Dana Carvey era, Bill Cosby, Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy, back in time, right? And as I'm going back in time with these comedians, I'm discovering the origins of it all. And I still wanted to be a stand-up comic. And I was always the funny kid in school, and I was always doing impressions. I just wanted people to be happy because I couldn't take the pain. I hated people who were suffering. I wanted them to feel that joy I felt with my parents on that bed when I was 4 years old, when they first discovered laughter, or at least as far as I could tell. And I just got so addicted to it. And I just kept trying to make people laugh and doing impressions and doing stuff and etc. Fast forward, I'm in university. A movie comes out called Night at the Roxbury. Night at the Roxbury with Chris Kattan, our guest in just a bit. And I held the book upside down, just like Trump holds the Bible. And Will Ferrell, and I had never seen them before. And you know, back in those days, you'd go in Lebanon, we get movies illegally. You go to a place called Billboard in Junior, and you would go there, and they'd have all the movies for like $1 or $2 or $4, whatever, and they would be ripped on CDs, and you'd buy them, and then you'd watch them. So you'd discover movies. We wouldn't know what's good and what's bad. There was a guy called Skandar. Okay, I'm not joking. His name was Skandar. And Skandar had a movie rental place. And I'd go and rent videotapes from him. Blockbuster in Lebanon was called Skandar. It wasn't called Blockbuster. So I'd go in, we'd rent a cassette tape from him and watch it and discover movies. I've watched movies that are terrible just thinking they should be good. I can't remember what that name of the movie was with Brad Pitt on a ship with, I think, Tommy Lee Jones. Horrible. But at the time, you're like, oh my God, Brad Pitt, it must be amazing. So, whatever. Night at the Roxbury pops up. We get it. And I watch it with my friends, Mortanius, who's in the comments section, Ziad. And we must have watched that movie 100 times. And we used to laugh all the time. They'd bobbing their head to the music. Dun, 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 dun. I can't do the head bob. And just Emilio, you got to watch the movie if you haven't seen it. They had this story where the characters are telling a story about how they met Emilio Estevez, and man, we would laugh so hard. Do you remember when you were younger and you would watch the same movie multiple times? It's very rare for me to feel that anymore. I don't know if the movies got worse or if the world got more impressive, but it isn't the same anymore. So we would watch it, memorize the lines and everything, and it had a huge impact on me because it was one of the funniest movies ever. Fast forward a few more years, internet becomes more prevalent. My stand-up comedy career is taking off, and I'm online one day, and I'm like, the actors, Night at the Roxbury, Will Ferrell, Chris Kattan. And I'm like, I wonder what other movies these guys have done. And then I discover that they were on Saturday Night Live. And then I discover that Chris Kattan was on Saturday Night Live. And I start watching his clips. And I just discovered it in reverse. Everything happened in reverse with me. I'd see Chris Kattan got to the movies from his sketches on Saturday Night Live. I saw Chris Kattan in the movies and went back to the sketches. It's interesting, but comedy is a journey for everybody who discovers it. And once it's in your life, you don't want it out of your life. You know, as Lebanese people, as a Lebanese man, and a lot of people who know Lebanese people or Arabs in the audience right now, how many times do you sit with your family and the night goes on to like 2, 3 in the morning and they're telling jokes and they start laughing and they're talking, and these are people who are under war. But as soon as the jokes start going, the human spirit shines. Nothing demonstrates the power of the human spirit more than a joke, and especially in hard times. A lot of people think it's inappropriate to tell jokes during hard times. I think it demands more from you. You have to do better jokes, but it is just as necessary. It is actually more necessary to tell jokes in hard times. I've been in funerals, and there's a need. After 2 or 3 days of mourning, somebody will come in and say something that isn't that funny. It's just a bit funny. And everybody laughs. And it's a guttural laugh. And it's not because you don't care about the person who died, but because as soon as you all start laughing, you remember that there's still a life to live. And you honor that person's memory by laughing together. And it's a beautiful thing. It's kind of like saying we miss, because the thing about death, which is very interesting, is when somebody dies, you don't mourn their life because that's already over, right? What I just said in the past 10 minutes, that's done. That's gone. That's dead. But if I were to die right now, if anybody were to mourn me, they'd be mourning the potential. What didn't come, what could have been, what should have been. And since that doesn't happen anymore, that's where the sadness lies. Sadness lies in the future and the theft of it. But happiness is in the present, and that's the comedy. And while you can't control the past, because that's already gone, and you can't foresee the future, you can definitely master your present. And to master your present and to master and discipline that emotion, that emotional feeling you have in the here and now, nothing does it better than comedy. A lot of very depressed people know that. When they're feeling really down, they laugh more. Nobody seeks sadness. You're subjected to it. But as a human being, we all seek laughter and happiness. And the reason that I'm bringing this up today is because you have to make sure that you do your best to honor you. A lot of us don't really remember to do that. A lot of us we get lost in other people's issues. But sometimes you have to realize that being the best version of yourself allows you to help other people the most. And comedy is the lover that never leaves your side. Comedy is the lover that if you ignore it and you push it away, if you turn back to it, it'll come right back into your life in an instant. And it's the lover you want back. It's the old familiar. When you're sad, you miss laughing again. But when you're happy, you never miss being sad again. Unless you're into those weird goth. I dated a girl once who told me, and I remember this. She said, why are you so happy all the time? What was ironic about that statement was I was actually miserable. And at the same time, that somebody would question, why would you want to be happy all the time? It bothered them that I was happy. But I realized later what bothered them wasn't that I was happy. It was that nothing got me down. And if nothing can bring you down, you're a superhero. You can take on anything. That's a skill. And through comedy, I've discovered that. I'll put people in a room who don't agree with each other. And if I make both of them laugh, then I've just reminded them they have a lot in common. When I did my comedy special, No Bombing in Beirut, I filmed it in Lebanon in front of a crowd of 5,000. And then I filmed it in Los Angeles in front of a crowd of 2,000. And then I cut the special. I wore the same outfit. I had the DOP's light it the same way, and I cut this special, even mid-joke, in between the two countries. I jump back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But at 55 minutes, I split the screen and revealed to the crowd that they've been watching a special that is jumping between two different places on Earth. But you couldn't tell the difference. The energy was the same. And the point of it was to show that if the energy of the joke could remain consistent from one place to another, maybe those two places are a lot more similar than you've been led to believe. Nothing can prove that more than laughter, the energy and the spirit contained with it. You want people to cry, get an 11-year-old girl, beat her, rape her, put that on screen, everybody's going to cry. But if you want everybody to laugh, it's a very difficult thing. Cultural sensibilities stuff. When it comes to happiness and laughter, the differences can be vast. When it comes to sadness, it's very easy. So to be able to get two people to laugh in the same room, I made a virtual room on that screen. Those people weren't physically in the same room, but if a bunch of Lebanese people and a bunch of American people couldn't tell the difference, the Americans were like, I thought I was watching a show in America the whole time. And the Lebanese were like, I thought those were all Lebanese people the whole time. When you have that belief, it's a eureka moment that makes you realize you've been abused and manipulated and lied to. The world is a much smaller place than you've been led to believe. Only comedy can achieve things like that. And it can achieve it like that. I could sit and convince you all day, or I could make you laugh and then at 55 minutes show you an image that's so powerful that it changes and rocks the foundation of everything you believe in because it comes in the context and the narrative of jokes. That's the power of comedy. And on this show, we've had the privilege of having some of the greatest comedians in the world. So many. And I'm sure I'm going to forget a few right now. This is episode 28. The majority of the people here are comedians because they're people that I know, and that's the circle that I'm in. But whether it was Jim Gaffigan or Colin Mockery, Bassem Youssef we had earlier today, Won Ho Chung, Brian Callen, on and on and on and on, Jessica Kirson, you've seen the stories that they have and the struggles that they've overcome, and the perspective they have through comedy is uncanny. So I consider it a true honor and a privilege to be able to be a part of the comedy world. You know what I'm saying? And it's not easy. Kamal Sinno is saying, after my grandfather's funeral, the Aza is an Arabic word for a kind of a morning gathering, at home was like a 14-card game night. There was more smoking and coffee than an entire cafe stacked with people playing cards. That's it right there. That's it right there. It's nice to hear a passionate comic that come off as more genuine than a typical entertainer. That's very kind of you to say. I can't read the name for some reason. Shabanyak. So, Tu Ho Chung. Ali Buzzy, once two people in my family died in the same week. My uncle comes in after the funeral and says, okay, I'm going to read it in Arabic and then translate it. He goes, once two people in my family died in the same week. My uncle comes in after the funeral and says, Hada la'ban bis settings? And that was the strongest laugh I ever had. Hada la'ban bis settings mean, did anybody fuck around with the settings? Because everybody's dying, basically. Kamal Name asks, where can we watch No Bombing in Beirut? It's online for free if you have Amazon Prime. And if you want to buy it, you can buy it off Amazon, Vimeo, the Apple Store, everywhere. So I don't know what all of our stories and all of your stories are with comedy and laughter, but I hope my story kind of illuminates maybe something in your life that you didn't realize about the power of your soul and your spirit that you can unlock by surrounding yourself with the right people. And that's a beautiful thing that this podcast has done. I've gotten to meet all of you guys, and your energy is beautiful. And then I get to meet all the guests that we have on the show, and that's beautiful. And it's all us together doing that. Comedy is an incredible, incredible thing. So that's why I'm just so excited about our guest today, because this is one of the masters of comedy. This is one of the people who literally broke his neck to make other people laugh. And when I say that, I mean he actually broke his neck in a sketch to make other people laugh. Not very many people can say that. So it's a true honor. And for everybody here in the comment section, I would love it if you guys would share with me later on WhatsApp or Discord if you have any incredible stories, and I'll read them in the next episode about how comedy impacted your life. I'd love to hear it. DDN is here. I believe that's my cousin Diana in San Diego, but I may be mistaken. Welcome, cuz, to the podcast. Without further ado, I think it's time that we bring on our special guest, the one, the only, the Chris Kattan. I'm very excited to have him here. So let me go ahead and flip this over here. Let's get this Discord thing off, and let's get this WhatsApp thing off so that we can see his beautiful face. And let's go ahead and give him a call.
Hello?
Hi, Chris.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good. I don't know why you're not showing up on video.
Yeah, you're not showing up on video either.
Wait, hold on a second. Here we go now.
There we go.
That's it.
Looking good, man.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, it's all in the hair.
Your hair is I butchered my hair. I cut it. This is what I did to it right there. Cut it myself, and it didn't go so well.
Well, let me see that again. Let me see that little butcher. Oh yeah, you did do that. That is a little butcher style. Yeah. That's nice. What's the other side look like? Let's see the other side.
Not anything like it.
Oh yeah, that's totally. That has a lot more hair there.
Yeah, that one I didn't do so bad. This one I screwed it up, and then I thought to myself, should I now screw up the other side so they match? And then I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
Nah, I'll just having half is good.
Yeah. Well, kids today, with their crazy haircuts, I like it. I think it's very becoming. Well,
that's very kind of you. Thank you. From a man with majestic hair as yourself, that actually means a lot.
That's what they call me, Majestic Hair Kattan. It's crazy that you said that.
Yeah. Thanks so much for joining us today, man.
Of course.
I just talked about the impact you had on my life, so I'm just going to summarize through it really quick. In your book, Baby Don't Hurt Me, you talk about when you saw Eddie Murphy on Saturday Night Live when he was doing a line and he messed it up.
Yeah.
And he told the crowd to shut up.
He said, so I messed up. Shut up was his line, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. And it blew you. It had such a moment. You couldn't really explain it in the book, but you said it had such a hold on you and that he could be that confident.
Yeah.
And that was the moment you wanted to get into comedy. Like to be on Saturday Night Live, to be specific.
Yeah, it really was. It was pretty amazing. It was so, like I said, so confident. And he was so relaxed and so funny and so connected with the audience. And just the power that he had, being that confident at the same time was just amazing to me. And it being live at the same time, that so many millions of people were watching this, it was just like, God, if you could be that relaxed and that calm and that funny at the same time, it was unbelievable to me. I just could not believe it. And at that time, he was like the king, as well.
Yeah.
And he also, he messed up the line, and he broke the fourth wall, always breaking the fourth wall.
And I think that was the first time somebody had ever broken the fourth wall, right, on Saturday Night Live?
I don't know exactly. It probably was one of them for sure. But, that one worked beautifully. He just, it was so good. So fucking funny.
That's amazing. And then I'm reading in the book, and your father, who everybody, when I announced that we were going to have you as a guest, I have a very large Arab following. And I got so many messages from people. Did you know that his father's Iraqi? Did you know that his father? Ask him about his father. Yeah, they're very proud. And then I asked you about this, and you told me earlier that your grandfather. Can you just say what you told me about your grandfather?
Yeah, my grandfather was apparently a letter carrier for Lawrence of Arabia, the Lawrence of Arabia, not D.H. Lawrence, but T.H. Lawrence was, he. Yeah, I don't know how specifically he carried him, if he was on camel or.
Probably.
I don't know.
Probably.
That part. I don't know why I don't know. I guess a camel, right? It has to be a camel.
Right? Although maybe it was a horse.
A horse, right?
Could be a stallion, but also could be a camel. I think both animals were used extensively.
Right. That's right. I keep forgetting there's more than camels that exist in that area.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. But I guess one of the two. I can't see my grandfather writing anything, but yeah, I guess so. But yeah, so he was a letter carrier. I always thought that was very cool to say that. And my dad was a voice of a Smurf, so you got that too.
And he was one of the members of the Groundlings as well, which
he was. He's one of the founders of the Groundlings. So he was there in the beginning, like 1975, which is when Saturday Night Live started as well. And when I was a kid, he used to take me down to the theater, and I'd watch him perform, along with people. And I get to see him perform, which is really cool to see. For me, it was such a cool thing to see my father perform on stage and the amount of laughs that he got from audience members was so cool to see. You know, it was really impressive. It's like not a superhero, but it was really cool to see your own. I mean, imagine your dad just like performing and people laughing, and
That is,
you know,
superhero is actually how I would describe it.
I guess so. It's a little more than just holding court during Passover. You know, that's like 10 people, and he's telling a joke and it goes over well. This is like a stage. It's like a theater. People are laughing, so it's a lot more contagious. But that was really cool. But I got to see people like Paul Rubens, you know, create his character Pee Wee Herman there, and people like Phil Hartman, and you know, and
a lot of people don't know. I mean, obviously in the industry and in the comedy, everybody knows, but a lot of the layman people don't really know the impact that the Groundlings had on comedy completely. I mean,
yeah.
it's unbelievable. You just mentioned a few characters in passing, besides your characters and other characters that have come out from there, whether it was on Saturday Night Live or elsewhere, that went on to become gigantic sensations. When you first made the Groundlings, how did that feel with regards to, you know, was it kind of like, because you know when your parents go to like an Ivy League school and then if you make the Ivy League school, it's like a big deal for them. Was that kind of how it felt for you and your dad at the time?
For my dad, I don't think back then they had classes to get in. I'm not quite sure what it was. I don't know how. I think it was just a group and there wasn't a school of any sort.
Okay. Wasn't like its current form now.
No, now it's crazy. Now it's like, good luck on the list. Although at this moment, you know, because of quarantine, I think they're doing stuff online. So I think everybody could do a class actually.
Okay.
But when they're doing it in person, I think it's really difficult to get on the list and actually be there in person. But when I was there, which was, I was say 19. So that was like, you know, that was like 20 years ago. So is that right? Am I doing this right? No. 20, 40.
No,
I'm sorry, 30 years ago.
30 years ago.
Thanks. I was about to get away.
I didn't want to say it. I was like...
Anyway, this is like what, 5 years ago?
Yeah,
anyway,
it was last year.
Yeah, last year. But you know, they had, you know, there's like basic, intermediate. There's all these different levels, and you have to be on a waiting list. So I started when I was 19, and it's really hard to get into any level. Back then, it was just very hard to get to the next level because you're not just being taught how to be, how to, you know, write for characters and all these specific things. But if you're not funny or you don't have a sense of comedy already, you're going to go back or you'll get kicked out. You know, it's very, like you said, Ivy League is very difficult. Some say it's more difficult to become a Groundling than it is to get on Saturday Night Live. You know,
wow.
And I believe that because it's really, you have to be really good, and you have to be really good at improvisation too. Not just writing and creating original characters, not just characters, but original ones, like characters that are just as good as, say, an Austin Powers or you know, that kind of level of character, which is really hard to come up with that, and to come up with like new sketches every week, like 2 or 3 sketches every week, and for them to be at a level that you would see on SNL or better, you know, probably even better, because they have to be really good. Otherwise, they just get kicked out. And if they don't get laughs in the theater, then they're booed, and you have to write some more, like SNL. But like, I mean, they have to be much funnier than SNL sketches. But it was really difficult to get through those classes. But what you learn it's amazing. And I found out that writing is so important in comedy. It's amazing. Writing is the most essential because you fall back on that, whether you do stand up or not. And for those who don't know what Groundlings are, it's equivalent to like a Second City in Chicago. Second City, of course, had like, you know, Mike Myers and Chris Farley and Belushi and those guys. And Groundlings more recently had people like Melissa McCarthy and Kristen Wiig and Conan O'Brien and you know, that but it's been around for a while. I mean, recently there's been a lot of looting going on, and I think people broke into the Groundlings.
What? Oh, I didn't know that. Really?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know what they took, but yeah, it's all boarded up. This whole area
is boarded up.
I'm in Hollywood. The Hollywood, whatever. The what? Yeah, really close. My girlfriend's translating for me. She translates exactly what I said, which is nice to know that I'm saying. At least she clarifies that I said something correct.
Yeah.
No, close to Hollywood. She'll go close to Hollywood. Close to Hollywood.
You're close to the action, basically.
Right, close to the action, close to the action, close to the action.
Close to the action, confirmed.
Right. But yeah, so it was close to all the action. But yeah, so it was all boarded up. But the Groundlings is great. Have you been to? How often do you come to Los Angeles? Where are you right now?
I'm living in Venice. I'm in Los Angeles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
Never mind. Okay. So
No, we haven't seen much action though in Venice.
sure, right.
I'm watching mainly on the TV, and plus we're quarantined. Just to deviate from what we were talking about earlier, and I did want to ask you about this as well. How are you doing in all of this tragedy around us? Whether it was the coronavirus, Black Lives Matter, all of this, George Floyd murder.
Right.
Are you all right? How are you and your girlfriend holding up?
I'm fine. Yeah, we're good. I'm very lucky to be in a very incredible relationship with an amazing woman. So the
God
timing
bless.
was perfect for me,
Yeah.
and I think for her. We started dating in November, so yeah, it worked out beautifully. It was good timing to have
Perfect.
quarantine. And she's in the process of moving in and stuff, so that's good. But it was hard.
Congratulations, man. That's great to hear.
Thanks. Yeah. She's a man, but that's okay. We just found that out unexpected. But first time I took her pants off, and I was like, "What?" And I'm like, "Whatever, quarantine." So, but anyway, no. She what? Not funny. She said. Okay.
Tell her, because we want her to like us, to like everybody here on the podcast. We also thought it wasn't funny, despite the fact that everybody in the comment section is losing their minds. But yes.
Right. And just to clarify, though, she is not a man. It is a woman. I'm sorry.
Yes. No. I know. Of course. Yes. No.
Her
We
name
know.
is Cheyenne. Her name is Cheyenne.
Yes.
She has Instagram. Her Instagram is Cheyenne Gordon. Shy Gordon, right? Shy Gordon. Just in case you want to verify, it's Shy.
Oh
Gordon.
no. I've actually known that because you tagged her in your
Okay.
in your Instagram. Right. So
that's right. She's but we're both short, which is good. It's nice to find a short woman. Not real short. Short. I'm not too short. I'm like 6'7". Not that short.
Not too short.
So, not too short.
6'7", 6'8".
So anyway, but it was for the relationship. It was a little trying because we were with each other, and she got a little sick of seeing me a little bit because we were together a lot. It was like, give me some space. We found it was a lot of triggers. I really got used to the word trigger. You're triggering me. Things like that. And I found out I'm a lot more needy than I thought I used to be.
Oh, wow.
I got rid of that, but yeah. And, maybe I'm trying to find my mother psychologically in her. I don't know. A lot of weird psychological issues came up. I mean, we're quarantined together. What are you going to do? You're going to find a lot of therapy stuff. Plus, we watched but we did get into a lot of really bad / amazing reality shows.
Really? 90 is 90 Day Fiancé one of them?
Yes.
Why
did you say that?
Because here's the thing. Every time I hear couples who it's a guy and he starts watching reality TV for the first time, the girlfriend always we're going to start you off with 90 Day Fiancé. It's like the one thing that, because it's amazing.
So good.
Yeah.
It's funny you said that because I'm literally just finished filming a parody of that show, and I should release it in a week. And I did a parody of one of the episodes that was loosely based on one where it was Muhammad and what's the woman's name? Danielle, and she's kind of heavyset, and he's from Jordan. Northern Africa. Jordan,
oh, Northern Africa. I thought, Northern Africa.
Yeah, and he in the episode she's crying all the time, just from he doesn't know if he's gonna make it off the bus, after the airport, and she's like, you want to call her? Call him, and the son says, you want to call him to Danielle, and she's like, I don't know, I'm just getting off the bus. And then let's go to the airport. So they go to the airport. Do you see him? Is that him in the brown jacket? I don't know. We didn't tell me what he looked like. And then finally they embrace, and she's like, "Oh my God!" And they embrace, and she's like, "I didn't think you were gonna make it. Oh my God!" And holding on to him way too long. And the guy is a decent-looking guy. They do not look like a couple at all.
They never do. They never do.
Never do. She's I don't even. It's two different planets. He's 23 and she's 50. But they're she's she's a good amount of. She's carrying a lot of stuff going on, and to say it politely. And he's was somewhat athletic, I guess. But it's just it's really sad to see. And there's other times she's always crying. And every time they always cut back to their relationship. There's one thing where she goes, I got a letter today. And he's like, what happened? What's going on? Why are you crying all the time? I got fired from my job. He's like, why did you get fired? He's like, I do, because I keep thinking about you all the time. And he's like, why? You got fired because you do bad job. You do no good job at job. You do bad job. Don't yell at me. I love you so much. It's so funny.
Where are we going to
And
see
then
this
he
sketch,
leaves
by the
her-
way?
Huh?
Where are you going to put this sketch out?
Yeah, it's probably about a week.
On YouTube and stuff?
I think so. Yeah, my handle is at Chris Kattan official. So on Instagram first, but yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to do a series of different parodies of reality shows because I've been watching them consistently.
I cannot wait.
But there'll be ones that nobody has seen. Like there's the one about the addictions. It's called. What's it called? Huh? Oh yeah. It's about something addictions. I won't tell all the ideas. My girlfriend's like, "Don't tell them all." But she wasn't angry. I'm doing an impression of her being angry. She's not an angry person.
No, I can't. She doesn't look it.
She's very sweet. She's lovely. But so there's that My Addiction. That's a show too.
Yes.
And but I'm trying to obscure. But you said 90 Day Fiance, which is so it's just amazing.
It is really the greatest show ever made.
So I hope nobody else. That's my idea. It's coming out. I copyrighted it. I'm the first one to parody it.
Even if anybody else does it, they're not going to do it as good as you. Everybody knows that. I'm very excited.
About it. Yeah, they will not do it as good as me.
No, they will not. There is not a chance.
Is there? Might come out first, and then you could do it. But oh my god, it's so funny. What else did we watch? We watched. There's some other. Oh, there's another one. The rich, where the rich. Marrying millions.
I don't know that one.
Where it's someone who has no money, and then they marry a millionaire. So like a construction worker married this woman who's a real estate agent in Vegas, and she's got millions, but she lied about being in it. It's just another like someone who has no money marrying a woman
rags to riches.
Wealthy. So that's one, but it's not nearly as entertaining as 90 Day Fiance. That's like that's amazing. I don't know what it is about. Terrible. And the funny thing is, 90 Day Fiance is on the Learning Channel. Like, what are you learning? Isn't
that weird?
What?
Isn't that weird? You're learning that everybody is going to come here for a fucking passport is what you're learning, basically.
Like, when did they cancel the History Channel? They got Learning Channel, and we're learning that? Like, that's our education. That's why we need to defund the police and put more money in the education system. Because we're watching the fucking Learning Channel, and the Learning Channel is educating us with 90 Day Fiance. That's the problem with the education in this country.
Which brings me to my next question. Where are your stances on Black Lives Matter and defunding the police? I think this is the greatest segue.
Stance? Stance?
What do you feel about this?
Well, I got this stance. And then I got this stance. Sometimes I have this stance. No, that is so dumb. I don't know why I did that. My girlfriend laughed, though. That's good. I'll do that again.
Oh, my goodness. This is too funny.
I think my stance is, well, I do. I'm not a fan of the man in the White House. And I think what's going on is very much of a revolution, of some sort, really. I think we all have to make it's kind of like we're on a road, and we all have to make a choice first of all, we all need to do something. As somebody as a human being in the society and being a person that votes as well, which is important because people are forgetting that we have to vote during all this time. Nobody's mentioning that. That's really important. We got to stay on track about that because voting is happening. But that we people either need to, first of all, a lot of people at home need to start having, in regards to Black Lives Matter, that people need to start having that conversation at home with their family about what's going on with racism and how important it is to know what has been happening in history and the problem that we do have and how we need to fix it. What we can do as people to do this and be aware of these things. If it takes a movie to watch, that's easy for children to watch a movie. It's probably the easiest way. And there's a great deal of movies you can watch. You go online and there's so much stuff you can find out on Instagram, and people like Octavia Davis or Viola Davis or Octavia Spencer and Viola Davis.
Yes.
I'm just mentioning people with Davis. Betty Davis. And but all these people. But, there's a lot of people to follow and find out how to educate yourself. And also, you can protest is a wonderful thing to do. Peaceful protest. Yeah. Of course. And you can use your platform is really important. It's like we all have a voice and we all need to use it and say the right thing,
I agree.
And this is a time of change. I think a lot of us, too, as a society in general and human beings in general, we tend to be a bit lazy and a bit selfish and in our own bubble. But what we don't realize, if we forget, is that if we really put a lot of effort into the right direction and put our foot on the pedal, gas pedal, as they say, we can really make a change.
Yes.
We can. It's amazing. And that's what's happening. It really is happening.
Yes.
There's change happening. These times they are changing, as they say. And it is amazing what we can do. And, with defunding the police, it seems to be happening a little bit, or at least they're going to try and see if it works in Minneapolis,
I think it's a great idea. I mean, a lot of people think defunding the police means no longer giving any money and having no police force, but really what it means...
Right, which is not correct.
No.
Of course we need a police force. We need, because there will be crime. We need police. It's just, that's how it is.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean we're not going to have, hey, let's dismantle the police.
No, it means just stop giving them stuff to fight Al-Qaeda.
Yeah, right.
It's relax just a bit on the militarization and the tanks and the excessive training with chokeholds.
We just don't need to give them nearly as much money as they've been getting. And maybe we haven't been told that this has been happening, or we haven't bothered to educate ourselves to find out this is how much money they've been getting. But that money, the taxpayers' money, and all that money could be going to, like what we said earlier, education and
different infrastructure projects and God damn it, I don't know, YMCA's, recreation center.
All the things that are really big problems that have been going on for years, homelessness and what social workers have to do for other people, and jobs and schools, and there's just all the things that also matter. There are, of course, Black Lives Matter. That's the most important thing right now. But a lot of things matter as well too, and they need to be taken care of. And defunding the police is a good start.
I agree.
Taking money away. Or not taking money away, but
reallocating funds, because it would be absurd to say you don't want to have police, but it's absurd to say that much money, $6 billion and $10 billion a year going to a police force.
It's out of proportion. It doesn't make sense. It's just too much. So taking that, reallocating, not allocating, because that means dismantling, but reallocating that money into something else productive will make a huge difference, I think.
I think so too. At the end of the day, we're a couple.
And it'll be interesting to see how it works with Minneapolis being the first place to start. But I think nothing against Beverly Hills Police Department, but that's a pretty nice building.
Right.
I don't think you need that nice of and they have. When I drive by during Christmas, they got some real nice Christmas trees outside. I don't think you need that nice of Christmas trees. The police do not really need. They got some nice coffee makers in there. I know there's a nice espresso machine. I bet you everyone's got one at their desk. Those cops are they got 10 pairs of shoes. I'm sure they look fun. You do not need a Prada badge. Those cops are getting haircuts twice a week, getting their nails filed.
Dude, the cops look. The cops in the fire department look.
Those are Versace clubs. Did you know? Those are designer clubs those cops have. They do not need designer clubs.
You mean the batons? They're the
That's what I meant. That's right.
Dude, this is the... Oh, God.
Yeah. So they don't need that. I really don't think that's... their cars were so beautiful. They have... I can't even... Whatever.
And they're good looking. The other day, my carbon monoxide alarm went off. It turned out it was just faulty. And I called the fire department. They show up, the police and the fire department. Some of the best looking men I've ever laid eyes on.
Yeah.
Not as tall as you, 6'5", 6'6", but...
Right.
Jesus, and they look well funded. Do you know, when you see...
they look well funded.
Yeah.
There's a gym. There's an indoor gym at the police station. I'm sure there is.
Yeah.
They have trainers. They have their personal trainers, But yeah, I think... and they are good looking. The cops here are good looking. It's part of, that's part of it, though. They don't need to be... They're failed... Well, I wouldn't say failed actors. That's not very nice to say. They're people that are...
But your girlfriend said the truth. She's right, though. She's right. They are. A lot of them, you look at them and you're like, what happened? I didn't get the part.
You're like, weren't you on Days of Our Lives? I was, but I'm a cop now. Weren't you on, hold on a second, weren't you in the background on Facts of Life? Weren't you in the scene, weren't you an extra in Magic Mike for a second? I was. I had no pants on, but I'm a cop now. Get out of the
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
This isn't real.
Right.
Chris, you you I'm sorry, trying to compose myself.
No, that's good.
This is such a joy for me because I've looked up to you. I was explaining before the show, before I brought you on the interview, in the monologue, about when I first saw you. The first time I ever saw you, and I didn't know you existed because I was in Beirut. We didn't have NBC, we didn't have HBO. We weren't getting it, and there was no internet. I went to a place where you get movies and stuff, and it's all burned. You know, they get illegal stuff, and you go there and you pick out a bunch of movies. We see Night at the Roxbury. We get it. The guy goes, "This is funny, very funny comedy. Enjoy." So we get it.
Sure.
Go home. We watch it. This became one of my. And I grew up when I came here to America in the early '80s. We fled war in Beirut for it, and there was no happiness in my family. It only arrived when my parents discovered stand-up.
Right.
And ever since I was 5 years old, I said, one day when I grow up, I'm going to be a Ninja Turtle or a stand-up comic. That was always my goal, to be part of that energy.
Yeah.
And I always wanted to make people laugh. When I saw Night at the Roxbury, your physical comedy, the way you express yourself physically, coupled with the timing that you have, was so fucking inspiring and good that we memorized every single line in that thing. Years later, when the internet became fast enough, I remember one of the first things I did was like, the Chris Kattan guy, what other comedy movies does he have? I jump online, I find out you're on Saturday Night Live. It was a whole in reverse thing.
Wow, that's amazing.
And I started seeing, Mango and all of your characters, and I'm discovering, and it was then I'm very bad with names. I keep forgetting the Jesus Christ, the monkey.
Mr. Peepers.
Mr. Peepers.
Right.
And the way you threw yourself into the comedy. You mentioned earlier right now on the interview when you said Eddie Murphy was so, he was so comfortable, so confident, so fearless when he just broke the fourth wall. That is exactly what you were with your characters. You couldn't, there's no return. Like, you can't give it a try. You either have to go all the fucking way or you don't even go for it.
Yeah. That's the way to do it. I mean, that's growling training too, I think, that's what they do. They teach you how to. Jennifer Coolidge, who's a really funny woman, she was in all the Christopher Guest movies, and she was in the Groundlings, and she used to describe it as channeling. She would say it's like you're really channeling somebody else, I think that's what people do when they do characters that you just forget it's a performer, like I said earlier, like the Austin Powers or Pee Wee Herman or any amazing character. What might Sprockets or just
any of your characters.
I guess, sure. I guess they're different characters. I will say, like Mango or Mr. Peepers or the goth character or the gibberish guy who's like, get up and that's about it. Whatever. They're all different characters.
I had a teacher just like the gibberish guy.
Yeah. And I try to make them all different and not the same person, so that it was as different as possible. So in each one, in order to make each one work, you kind of have to channel a part of you or a part of somebody else that can just go into that person and
because you're like dry humping Sting and you're dry humping Jennifer Lopez, and
it's channeling somebody dry humping Paul McCartney when I was dry humping Sting, which is weird.
But that's insane. I mean, that is not insane. That's legendary that you do it, and you steal the scene because of the confidence in it, and obviously it's fucking hilarious. And you did that in every single scene. I want to ask you about this because I don't personally know any other comic, neither personally nor through, reading and understanding and learning about their lives, who put physicality to the extent that they broke their fucking neck. Doing a sketch. And I told this to somebody, like, this guy broke his neck making people laugh. And they're like, yeah, it's a tough job. I'm like, no.
No, he really did, yeah.
He broke his neck doing a Golden Girls sketch.
Yeah.
And for 3 months, I think, if I'm not mistaken, didn't get surgery.
Yeah. Well, it was almost a year. It's like I got surgery 3 months until the next my girlfriend's correcting me. It was after until I got hiatus until the end of the season is when I had my first surgery.
So this blows me away. You stalled taking care of yourself to continue making other people laugh. That says a lot about you.
I was getting physical therapy and I was getting chiropractor stuff, and that was not obviously doing it because I broke my neck. It wasn't like a clean break, but I had terrible atrophy and on my arm and on my legs, on my left leg, and I started getting numbness on my fingers and my toes. So all the nerves were cut off. It was total bad nerve damage, and I lost a lot of weight on my left side.
Oof.
And so it was, and I went to go see the first. It was like 3 days after the injury happened that I noticed this. I mean, it was painful, but it was like not like a clean break. Like,
Yeah.
it was like a whiplash snap, like $1 Million Baby kind of like that.
When she fell on the bench.
Yeah, on it was when she fell on the bench.
Yeah,
I
and
fell
for
on
you,
the-
I
on the
think
top of a chair.
right? When you fell back. Yeah.
Yeah, the top of the chair when I flew back and my head went like if the neck is my wrist, it was like like that.
Mhm.
So and the edge of the chair hit my wrist like kind of like that. But so it was painful, but I didn't know that I broke it until I saw a doctor that SNL recommended me go to see, and he was like, "Yeah, you broke your neck. You need to have surgery." And I was like, "Oh no, don't tell me that." And I was like afraid because I was like so afraid of being a physical comedian. I was like, the last thing I ever wanted was a thing in my back, a body part. I was like, or not a body part, but like some piece of metal. I was like, I was so in tune with my body physically. I was like, I don't want anything in my body.
That could affect your ability to physically perform.
Terrible. So
Yeah.
I was putting it off as much as possible. So I got non-invasive surgery, which is still invasive, but it was fusion. But they didn't put anything in there yet. But it was still fusion. So they burn off part of one part of the spine, the bone, and put it on somewhere else, so that so there was room for so the nerve wasn't being pushed or squeezed anymore. And then that worked, but it wasn't 80% fixed. So I had to do another surgery. Anyway, I did like 5 surgeries over a period of like 10 years. And it put me out of work. I didn't work for a long time. So when people are like, "What happened to Kattan?" That's what I was doing. I was healing and going through back surgeries, and it was awful. And you
never told anyone though, and that's what I wanted to ask you. Why?
My agents knew, and close friends knew, and family knew, but I didn't tell anybody publicly. And SNL knew, and some cast members knew, but I didn't. Nobody public wise knew. I didn't tell I was just brought up as a person. First of all, I was brought up with a family that had any sense of law or suing or you can get this or you should say this. I was not that person. And the last thing I wanted to do was sue my family like Saturday Night Live. I'm like, why would I do that? They're my family. And they're going to take care of me anyway. So, and I would never do something like that. But I didn't say anything because it would separate that relationship with them. And it would also, I also didn't want to say anything to anyone about it because I didn't want to be put on the bench or the sidelines, as they say. I want to be part of the game. I want to be part of the team.
Wow.
And I was so afraid of being just known as an injured person. And being a physical comedian, I just didn't want to be taken out of the game. I didn't want to be taken out of the show. It was and being on SNL, I don't know if you ever felt like being part of something so much and how important it is. It's like being probably in a rock band that's super successful, and then you're going to be replaced. It's the same feeling.
It's heartbreaking.
It's heartbreaking. So I didn't want to really vocalize that. So I know if things were looking back, I would have said something for sure.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you. Now that you've been through it in hindsight, I know hindsight's 2020, but what would you have done it differently?
Yeah, I would definitely have done it differently. It was shame. I was full of shame for it happening. I was embarrassed, and I decided to hide it. I did a lot of television and other films still while I was having surgery. I looked like crap, and my arm was like half the size. And you can see terrible photos of me online. It's like people are like, "Why does he look so messed up?" I'm like, "He looks like he's all on drugs and stuff." I was like healing and walking around with like a morphine pack on my neck.
Oof.
because of the post surgery. When you have surgery, you still have to take pain medication for a while, and then you get off the pain medication, and then you have to go back on it for the next surgery. So I'm like a walking zombie sometimes, and it's really You shouldn't be seen. You're supposed to be staying in bed at home, which I was most of the time, but you have to go out sometimes and shop and stuff. So
Yeah.
it was just, but it wasn't a time. I should have been more vocal about it. Not just for my sake, but for also other people's sake, because there's other people out there that are having surgeries that would allow them to say something, you know.
True.
I mean, Pete Davidson is being praised for speaking out about his mental conditions,
Yeah.
you know.
His depression and other issues, yeah.
Yeah, you know, and it's really great that he's doing that for himself and for others, you know.
I do believe that society today, though, is a bit different than even 10 years ago. I think 10 years ago,
there's something about being embarrassed back then and hiding things. It was almost like more appropriate to hide things than to admit your fault, because you don't want to risk. You don't want to become somebody who's like, I broke this, and now I'm going to be this person with a broken thing. And you're going to have to be known as imagine Jim Carrey losing a leg. Like,
yeah,
I'm not going to, and you don't want to be the victim.
Yeah.
My dad was a victim. He was a perfect victim. He's passed away, but he really, he was a hypochondriac. He was the perfect victim, you know. What? Yeah,
they did. She's right. She's 100% right.
They shamed victims back then.
Yeah.
They shamed them. And
stop being weak
unless you're like a funny curmudgeon Jewish comedian that plays the victim and oops,
like a Woody Allen-esque kind of.
Sure, right.
Yeah.
What he's doing now is not funny. But yeah, Woody Allen-esque comedy, right? But the victim, it would be shamed. You know, you don't want to be the victim. Exactly. You want to be the confident, indestructible guy, you know. And then Tracy Morgan getting in a terrible accident.
Yeah.
You know, it was obvious he was in bad shape, and he was very outspoken about it, and it was good for him for being outspoken. And everybody was behind him for saying that, you know. And but he could have chosen a different path and said, like, hey, I'm fine. He could have sued them, and then he could have been gone through rehab and not said anything about it.
Yeah.
But he chose to say something about it, which is great that he did.
I think what you did, though, at the time that you did it was I think now speaking is courageous, but when it happened to you, I think what you did was courageous. I don't think, because you took a lot of judgment. Like you said, I remember reading what people were writing about you, and I remember seeing some of the footage and saying he's not on drug. There's something else. Like you could anybody who knows what people on drugs look like and how they act and everything knows that's not how it is. But obviously nobody's gonna guess you broke your neck. And and to me, what I've always taken, and I've read your book, and I really am a fan. I know a lot of people talk in this town. I'm not. This is real. I always considered you a person who carried a burden so that you could continue to keep the focus on making other people laugh. To me, that's the hero in you, for me, has
Thank
been.
you.
And I hope you realize that.
Thanks, man. That means a lot. I do think that is the most important thing, is to make people laugh. And being a wounded bird or being broken, you don't think you're going to make people laugh anymore. You know, you want to still be there to deliver 100%.
Do you think you're ever going to, like right now, the Instagram clips you're going to put out, do you think you'll ever put out one of your iconic characters, or no? That's something
I don't know. I never thought about it. Maybe, yeah, sure. I'd love to. I haven't really thought about it. Maybe it's possible. They'd have to be a little older. Maybe Mango could be stripping on a cruise or something.
Dude, that would be amazing.
Who would you want to see? Who would you want to see the most?
All of them. I would love. I would not. Okay, if you could do somehow a reunion for the Night at the Roxbury's characters, but
that would be pretty cool.
That would be amazing.
I know they're doing Bill and Ted's and stuff. Well, I'd have to talk to Will. I think it would always be fun if there's three of them back together again, you know?
Can't you do... I was always wondering, do you think there would ever be a Night at the Roxbury Part 2?
That would be a great idea. I think that could happen. I haven't had those discussions with Will, but, you know, I know that we get along great and we haven't talked about it.
Because just imagine a movie where it's like you guys, 15 years later... your lives.
I think that'd be a great idea. I think how about everyone listening should go write your governor?
Is that what we should do?
Yeah. Go petition. Peaceful protest.
I'll organize it. If it helps, I'll do it.
I think it's a great idea. I do. I think it'd be fun. They're doing Bill and Ted's. I mean, they're doing every other one. It would be really funny. I'm up for it, I think it'd be really fun to do.
I know Night at the Roxbury was huge here, but I'm telling you, like Middle East, Europe, like that movie, and plus the bubblegum techno. in that movie was huge.
Yeah.
I mean, and people still love it. If I'm at a club back home and somebody puts "What Is Love," like the club goes nuts.
Yeah, it's such a bubblegum crappy. That's not crappy.
No,
it's just not the greatest song, but it's so good because it's so innocent, and dumb, and it's so catchy. It's like I can't explain it, but a lot of that music was so catchy, like like Ace of Base music, like "It's a Beautiful Life." Oh.
I can't believe you're singing Ace of Base.
Crap.
We used to Ace of Base in Lebanon. What was that song? All that she wants is another baby.
And it's really not great music, but you love it. You can't stop singing it. The ladies like it.
Yep.
And, it's
Yep.
The ladies like it, but it's yeah. God, all that song, like what was the other song I was singing? What's so funny about the songs too, they didn't have rap. Like now they have rap in the middle of it. Then they had a deep guy voice go, there was a song that goes, "Another night, another dream, and always you. It's just a vision of love. It seems to be true." I'm sorry, I do know the lyrics for the song. And then in the middle of it, the guy goes, "Just another night, another you, just another night, and you do what you did too. Another night, just another night, another dream with you." So all these dance songs always had a guy in the middle like, "Just another night." More and more and more, you don't know where to go. More and more, you don't know where you're going to. What? Yeah, the Justified Men listening to it. They just go like that. Because there's always a woman like, "Oh," like this.
That's so true. They made it so that it was okay for men.
Fun on the dance floor. Out of nowhere. It was so funny. Every dance song had that in the middle.
Oh my God.
Just another night.
That's your next character.
Yeah.
Right there.
The guy.
Yeah.
Sure.
The guy that makes it okay for men to listen to that music. Do you think that the world, if you can trace a timeline between bubblegum techno's popularity decreasing and the darkness of the world, they seem to be in direct proportion. Do you think that the world is a darker place because bubblegum techno has fallen out? And do you think bringing it back might make this world turn around again?
Well, without question. We already know that answer.
Okay. So now you have to make a Night at the Roxbury too. That's basically the end of it.
Defund the police. Are going to defund them now. Another peaceful protest on the street. You gotta educate your family tonight. Just another defunding the police today. And Trump, what you doing in the White House? Like that. But yeah, no, I think techno music will save this country. To answer that question.
I agree. I think it'll save the world, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah. For sure.
Oh my goodness. Chris Kattan, I want to thank you so much for the time you spent with us today. I hope when all of this, first of all, congratulations, you and your girlfriend, and
thank you.
We have
She's over there.
Hello. Thanks for taking care of Chris for us.
Yeah, thanks for taking care of me. You said you're welcome.
Congratulations to you guys. I hope when all of this is said and done, I hope one day I get the honor to actually shake your hand in person. That would be really cool.
I would love it. We could do that and just shake and keep shaking.
Keep shaking.
Shake each other's hands for 5 minutes if you want.
I mean, if you ever want to dive into those Arab roots that you have in your bloodline, that's how we do it. Just
what? Just
shake, fear stare.
Is there a specific Arab shake hand thing?
Actually, Arabs, I don't know if you know this, Arabs kiss men.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You kiss on the cheeks, but you don't put your lips. You just put cheek to cheek, and you kiss in the air, and you do it 3 times if you're in Lebanon. If in Jordan, I think it's 2 times. The Emiratis from Dubai, they have an incredibly effeminate way. They actually rub noses. And
really? Like the Eskimos, or they say. That's so interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I had no idea. What's happening? Oh, come here. What are you going to do?
They rub the nose.
Like that?
You've now become the most Arab you've ever been, my friend.
We just had sex. That's how we do it in this house. Oh, there we go. That was it.
Oh my goodness, man. You guys are awesome. Chris, really, man, I'm going to cherish this for a lot. It meant a lot to me, man.
Thanks, man. This was fun.
You're a hero of mine. So I just want to thank you for everything you've contributed to the craft, to the art form. It's literally, I couldn't even write a book about how much of an impact you've had. And I love you, dude. I really do.
Thanks, man.
Thank you
That
so
means a
much.
lot. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you
I'm
very
a fan
much.
of yours, so.
Oh, that would be unbelievable. So, dude, once again, thank you very much. You take care of
Thanks,
yourself,
buddy.
and I'll see you
You
when all
too.
of this is done. Bye-bye.
Okay, man. Take care. Bye.
Bye. Ladies and gentlemen, the legendary Chris Kattan. Just give me a second here to kind of take in. That was cool. That was so cool. Right, Muhammad? It was such a beautiful interview, man. I feel so good. He had such a beautiful energy. What a guy. What a guy. Yeah, I'm taking it in. It was emotional for me. I mean, dude, this guy had a huge impact on my life, you know? I really recommend, if you guys liked his personality, get his book. I have a bookmark here because I was going through the book again for a second time. And I was actually taking notes. Let me show you guys. I like doing this. I'll flip through books and I'll crease the pages where there's something interesting, kind of circle over it, and I'll just, let me just flip to something random. There were so many great things in his book. Let me just flip to something maybe that I can find a nugget that doesn't need context. Let me take a look here. This I liked when he talked about doing stand-up, because he does stand-up comedy now. And he said, I've come to enjoy doing stand-up, but it can feel lonely. It's always been much more gratifying and easier for me to collaborate with others. Of course, you need the right partnership. It would be hard for me to write anything with David Spade. He's his own machine. It's hard to take risks in those conditions, and risks are what make great comedy. That's really beautiful, man. Yeah, man, it really was, yeah? I agree. I really agree. I'm looking here to see if there's something else. Before we open up to the phone lines, I just thought, maybe I might find something here that I can read to you guys. When he talks about his dad, he says something very powerful. He says, before I'd ever kissed a girl for the first time, Dad was already trying to educate me on why all women would eventually leave me. Somehow everything always came back to the problems he had with his mother. His father used to psychoanalyze a lot. He says, Dad, the hypochondriac. So this is what he was discussing right now. He said, Dad, the hypochondriac, was all over his latest self-help craze and naturally assumed that I could benefit as well. He shared what he'd learned, but I abandoned it pretty quickly. The second I tried it out around my mother, and she yelled, stop playing the victim like your father, for Christ's sake. He just talked about that. But if Dad was doing some self-help thing, he would always include me. It was his version of bonding. At one point, he brought me to a John Bradshaw inner child seminar, after which he convinced me that I needed to establish a stronger relationship with my own inner child, my outer child, at the moment being 9 years old. It's an incredible book. He has an uncanny story, and yeah, that was something else. Guys, I'm so glad that you enjoyed. I am geeking out, Joy Kill. I really am, and I don't care. You guys can see it. I remember there were a few people that I would geek out over. He's one of them. Another person, when I did my Showtime special, No Bombing in Beirut, I got invited to the season celebration, I don't know what you call it, for Jim Carrey had a show on Showtime called I'm Dying Up Here, which is based off of a book, which I also highly recommend. And so I went, and Jim Carrey showed up. You can see a picture of me and him on Instagram. And it's Hollywood, and we're all standing there. Jim Carrey shows up. It's his party. And I was like, holy shit, it's Jim Carrey. So I want to go over and say hi to Jim Carrey. It's Jim Carrey. And I don't want to name names, but somebody stopped me. He's like, nah, man, you don't want to do that. I was like, why not? He's like, in this town, you don't want to look like you want to maintain your composure. You don't want to look like, you're a fan. You want to be cool. I was like, dude, who the fuck are you or am I? It's fucking Jim Carrey. I don't give a shit. I'm a comic. I'm not here for Hollywood. And I went up to him, and I swear, and people weren't talking to him. Like, they were all acting like it wasn't Jim Carrey. So I walk up to him like, hi, excuse me, Jim. I'm sorry to disturb. I just wanted to let you know, I have a special on Showtime. It's called No Bombing. I just started stumbling over my words like an idiot. And then he goes to me. He was the nicest dude. He's like, oh my God, from Beirut. What's the special's name? And I'm going to check it out. And I don't know if he ever did, but just the fact he said, then we took a picture together. Dude, I was like a 5-year-old kid. And here's the thing. After I did that, dude, everybody ran at Jim Carrey. And they started mobbing him because it's Jim Carrey. But it kind of like broke the ice. It's just there's very few people that would blow me away like that. Jim Carrey's one. Chris Kattan's another. These are people that have an impact on my life. I'm just saying. Ace Ventura. Pet Detective. It doesn't get better than that, man. Anyways, you know what time it is right now, guys. That was another beautiful, beautiful moment. Another beautiful podcast. And I'm so happy I could share it with you guys instead of it being like a singular moment just for me. I'm going to ask Reddit right now. And I'm going to find some questions. Or one question, rather. And I'm going to ask you guys the question. Now, once again, to run you through how this is going to work, because we can't disable call waiting. When you see this on the screen, it means we're taking calls. Call in. When it's gone, stop calling. Don't call in, because if you call in, we're going to hear beep, beep. And I can't disable call waiting, which is the most annoying shit in the world. And it's so annoying for everyone involved. So once I get a call in. Once I put that on the screen. But first, let's find the question, okay? So I'm going to find the question by going to Ask Reddit, and then I want to hear from you guys what you think. Oh, this is a good one. This is a great one. Here we go. Here's the question of the day. You guys ready? You wake up a billionaire. Suddenly, you're a billionaire. What's the first thing that you buy? Okay? Give me a call. Here's the number. Is the number on screen? It's on screen now. Okay? We're not taking calls yet. Give me 1 second. This is the number. You're a billionaire. What is the first thing that you buy? I want to know. This is going to tell me a lot about you guys. And the phone lines are open. So call me in right now on WhatsApp. We're getting a call from Saudi Arabia from Ahmad. Ahmad, how's it going, man?
This is going to tell me a lot about you guys. And the phone lines
Ahmad is listening to the stream. You guys when you call in, make sure you have the phone to your ear, because the stream can be a bit delayed. Ahmad, how's it going?
I'm fine.
How are you, brother?
How are you?
I'm doing very, very well, my friend. Did you enjoy the podcast today?
Yeah, he's very funny, very funny.
He is. He's a wonderful man.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, he really is, man. He's like he's one of the real ones, like the real deal.
Yeah, and he imitates sounds and people, and he's really funny.
I couldn't agree more. Now let's find out a bit about you, my friend. Ahmad, you wake up, you're suddenly a billionaire. Now you're calling us from Saudi Arabia, so let's make this a plausible scene. You wake up, there's a rumbling, and then boom, oil explodes from underneath your house, and you are now a billionaire. Okay? What do you do? What is the first thing you buy?
No, I will buy a land and open a gas station.
What? Why? What? Why?
To have an advantage from the fuel and oil from under the bed. No. I think I will look what I will do. I will buy a castle. I will buy a Lamborghini and stay at home. I will buy not ladies, those.
Dude, this is the most Saudi Arabian answer that you could have given me. I will buy castle, I will buy Lamborghini, and I will stay home.
Yeah.
It's the most Saudi Arabian thing. And did you say you're going to buy a lady? Is that what you said? You're going to buy a lady, or did I hear incorrectly?
No, I said that by error.
Oh, you said buy a lady by error. Yes. You're so Saudi. You were just like, and I will buy lady. I mean, by lady, it was a mistake. I meant to say I will buy many ladies, is what I was trying to say.
I'm Lebanese.
Oh, you're Lebanese. Oh, well then you're cursed. You're never going to be a billionaire. It's not for us. It's not. It doesn't happen for us, man.
Yeah, of course.
It's not going to happen.
Of course. will pay the public debt in Lebanon.
My man, look at that guy right there, thinking of his people. That's a beautiful thing, man. God bless. Well, then in that case, I hope you become a billionaire, man. Ahmed, you take care of yourself. Thanks so much for calling, brother.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Habibi.
Bye. This guy, Habib Albi, this guy has such a good voice, by the way. I will buy Lamborghini. I will buy castle. And I will buy lady. And I will... We have... Oh my God! Ladies and gentlemen, royalty is calling us right now from New York City.
Hello.
It is the one and the only Sikna.
Hello, how are you?
Sikna, it's been a while since we've had the privilege of your call on the show. How have you been since the last time you called us?
Great, thank you. How's everything with you?
Everything is amazing. Is your... I don't know if you heard our last caller, but our last caller was a guy who said that if he had $1 billion, that he would buy, and I quote, I would buy Lamborghini, I would buy castle, and I would buy lady. So my question to you is, I want to know, if you had $1 billion, Sikna, what would you buy?
First things, I buy house in Lebanon.
Hey.
And I make big business to make everybody work over there. There's a lot of people there poor.
Respect.
Oh,
Respect. What kind of business? What kind of business do you think you would open?
I will open kind of big factory to make, a lot of people work.
Hey, good man. That's great. That's so beautiful. That's very, very beautiful. I love that answer. Sikna, you're a good woman.
Oh, I'm trying to help now. I can't help like the way I should help.
Isn't it a shame?
I wish I have more money.
Yeah, isn't it a shame that the people who could really make a difference don't have the money given to them, and the people who don't want to make a difference are loaded?
I know. That's sad.
There is, of course, I don't want to be generalizing. There are a few wealthy people who really do make a difference. Bill Gates is the first name that comes to mind. A lot of people do charity without anybody knowing, but I really feel like sometimes if I just got, if they gave you $5 billion, Sikna, I think you could make the world a better place. I really do.
Oh, of course. Yeah, of course.
I really do. I'm going to call Bill Gates after this podcast and tell him to send you $5 billion. I don't have his number, so I'm just gonna open the window and be like, "Hey, Billy, give Sikna $5 billion, God damn it!" And if he replies and he goes, "What's her bank account number?" I'm gonna reach out to you and get ready to give me your IBAN.
Yeah.
Sikna, I hope you're doing really well. Thanks so much for calling.
Thank you. It was a great show.
Oh, thank you so much for tuning in.
I enjoy it.
I really appreciate you tuning in. God bless. Take care of yourself, Sikna.
You too. Thank you.
Bye-bye. The legendary Sikna, probably one of my favorite callers, honestly, on this show. The last time she called, it was hysterical. Let's see who we got on the phone. We got calling us right now from Detroit is none other than, you know what? Since it's beeping, let me try something. Stay with me. I think we have 2 callers right now on the phone. Hello?
Hello?
This is Ryan. Do we have Hamza as well on the phone?
Hello?
Yeah, Ryan, can you hear me?
This is Hamza.
Oh, it's Hamza. Okay, so do we have Ryan on the phone as well? No, we don't. So it's just Hamza. This is so weird. I think we had Ryan earlier, and then I accidentally pressed the green button on Hamza, and I neglected Ryan as a result, but this is life. What can you do? Ryan, I apologize. I'll try to call you right back. Hamza, calling us from Abu Dhabi.
Hello.
How are you, man?
Dude, I finally made it.
You made it.
Let's hope it doesn't cut off.
Look, Ma, I made it. Oh, yeah, let's hope it does. Let me ask you quick then. If you woke up a billionaire, what would the first thing you buy be?
Dude, after everything's going on in this world,
yeah,
I would buy myself an island, and I would live in that island on my own.
You'd be like, I'm going to fuck off. Me. I'm out. I'm done.
No corona shit.
I've had enough. I'm out. That's a good idea.
Oh, yeah.
Tropical island with beaches, or like a piece of land marooned by federally regulated land that nobody can come within hundreds of miles of?
Tropical with some electric fence.
Electric fence? There's ocean water. You're gonna electrocute everything. It's not. Why would you need electric fence?
I want to electrocute everyone who tries to come in.
Wow, you're just a very hospitable and loving person, Hamza. It's good to know that you.
Absolutely.
Hamza,
I can put a small little gate for anybody who I would love to bring in.
that's a beautiful thing. You are a magnificent and benevolent Lord. You would allow some people, by the kindness of your heart, into your house. That's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful. And may I suggest you also buy a lady, since apparently you can do that.
I would buy a castle and a Lamborghini.
And I buy lady. And khalas, I am done. That guy's answer was the best answer. Honestly, it was fantastic. I will buy castle, I will buy Lamborghini, and I will buy lady. And it's done.
But I would buy the 4-wheel drive Lamborghini so it doesn't go down
in the sand. No, he said he's going to stay home. He's just buying a Lamborghini to flex on everybody. That's Saudi mentality right there. They're just like, I have a Lamborghini. Can we see it? No. Can we take a drive? No. Why did you buy it? No. And that's it. That's all you're going to get out of them. Oh, my God. Hamza, dude, thanks so much for calling, man. You have a great day, brother.
It was very nice to hear your voice, man.
Same here, man. You take care of yourself.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
You too.
Bye. Bye-bye. Give me a call, everybody. Phone lines are open. If you suddenly woke up a billionaire, what would be the first thing you would buy? I love these questions because I get to know you guys. Fantastic. Ryan got through. Ryan, how's it going, man?
Pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing so well, my brother. You just wake up. You got $1 billion. What do you do?
Yeah. It's a tough question. Just kidding. I would buy friends.
You'd buy friends?
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. If I was super rich, I'd run for a presidency, right?
Ooh.
And I'd be really bad at it. And then I would make these red hats that would that say "Make Lebanon Great Again." And I would hold the Bible backwards and take a picture in front of a church.
Bro, what an incredibly brilliant answer. What an incredibly... My comedic mind didn't even go there. I mean, respect to you. This is what I do for a living. I'm ashamed of myself. I'm fucking ashamed of myself.
No, come on. You're good. Don't worry about it.
No, fuck that. It's over. I retire, goddammit, Ryan. It's over. I'm retiring. I have brought shame to my family. I have brought shame to the Abu Nazar family, and I do not deserve a Lamborghini or a lady. It's done. That was brilliant, man. I will run for president. I'll be bad at it. I'll hold the Bible upside down. I'll oppress minorities. Fantastic, man.
Yeah. I'll ruin peaceful protests.
I'll ruin peaceful protests. I'll turn the military on American citizens who 2 weeks ago were saying wearing a mask is authoritarian. And now those same Americans will cheer me on when I oppress peaceful protesters. Well said.
Exactly. Thank you.
Ryan, thanks for calling, man. Great fucking call.
Of course, bro.
You take care, brother. Bye-bye. See you on Discord, my man. Bye-bye. Bye. Let's take one final call, ladies and gentlemen. There is the number on the screen. Give me a call. Last call. You wake up a billionaire. What is the first thing that you do? We have us on the phone from Montreal, Canada, otherwise known as Montréal, the place where Lebanese people flock to because it is a very good compliment to their French education. But this man is a very powerful man from his display picture. His name is Ilyas. Ilyas, can I show people the beauty of your picture? Because you're a very good-looking guy. Do you mind if I show it?
Yeah, why not?
I'm going to hide your... Wait, people are still calling. Let's go. I mean, look at this guy. How good-looking is this dude right here? Look at that. That's a photogenic picture, man. Are you acting in Hollywood or something? What's going on right here?
No.
That's a picture of a billionaire, let me tell you. You got some Dan Bilzerian in your beard. You know what I'm saying?
Thanks.
Ilyas, I'm not hitting on you or anything, despite the fact it sounds like it. I'm just saying, man, be proud, dude. You're representing us really well out there with your good looks. So a chiseled man like yourself, Ilyas, what are you going to do? You wake up, you're a billionaire. What are we buying? Ilyas, what are we buying?
Well, I would say I would need more than billions, because what I want to do is like something like buy out the corrupt politicians in Lebanon. So
Dude, you could buy out the corrupt $1 billion. You could buy out the corrupt politicians.
I would say no, because they need more.
No, because if you took $1 billion,
black holes, you know,
if you took
holes.
But if you took $1 billion now and converted them to Lebanese pounds, that would be like $68 trillion.
That's it. That's
you
right.
know what I'm saying?
yeah. Yeah, I would do that. I would buy them out and keep Lebanon safe and stuff like that. So.
Applause to that answer, dude. Applause to that answer. That hit me right here in the heart, man, because just to imagine how incredible that country would be if we could take off the weights that are holding us down, the politicians and their corruption, and just let the brilliant Lebanese people exist, work, produce, and just create the most beautiful country in the world, man. God bless. I hope you become a billionaire, dude.
I would agree.
I hope you do. I really hope you do, man. What do you do for a living?
Well, I'm a technician. I'm the technician in the chat, so I'm also a technician. So I'm working on telecommunication.
Dude, fucking hack shit and become a billionaire, man. We need you.
Not that much, no.
Record. You're in telecommunication. Like, drop in on their phone calls, record stuff, and be like, "Hey, I got this stuff. I need $1 million. Do that."
Well, during the pandemic, so nothing will work without us. So we installed the internet and phone lines.
Perfect.
So
go to Bill Gates. Go to Bill Gates' home. Go to Bill Gates' home. Be like, "Yo, you want the internet? I need a couple billion. Your name's Bill. Your name's Bill. I want you to add an ion on top of that, billion, and give it to me, baby. Yeah, and that's it. And you get it done." Man, everybody's like, "Oh, the technician, Ilyas. Yeah, that's him. That's him." Yeah. Everybody's losing their mind. Right there. Anonymous. Everybody's calling for your help in these dire times. Ilyas, man, God bless you, bro, and where your heart is, man.
Thank you. I would just want to say that I was in your show in Montreal when you came, and I would suggest on you just to come in the summer, not in the winter, because we froze our ass outside. I was in the second show, and we were waiting like outside for 2 hours outside in the freezing.
Dude, first of all, this is what pisses me off about Montreal. So everybody was like, "Come in the summer," right? And I was like, okay. So I went in the summer once. I did 21 shows. Part of the Just for Laughs Comedy Festival. Nobody came from the Lebanese community. Ask me why.
Why?
Because you were all in fucking Lebanon.
They were all in Lebanon.
Yeah, you all go for the summer to Lebanon, and then you come and you're like, "Do a show in the summer." Why, Ilyas? So nobody can come?
No, because we froze our ass off. I wasn't prepared
stay in Montreal.
My jackets and stuff like that, so I didn't know.
Stay in Montreal in the summer, man, and I'll do a show in the summer. Honestly, though, I was actually.
It was a very great show. I just want to say that.
Thank you, sir. I actually was coming to Montreal this summer to do more shows, but that's all gone now because of the coronavirus. So that's beyond my control. But I was actually coming back to Montreal. I was going to also do Ottawa for the first time. I was going to do Alberta, and I was going to do Winnipeg. That's all gone. So, maybe next summer.
The corona shit.
Yeah. Let's hope so too before I go bankrupt. So let's hope that happens.
For all of us.
Indeed, brother. Listen, much love to you, man. Thanks for calling, dude, and God bless you. And you take care of yourself. Get that billion, bro. We need you.
I hope so.
Bye-bye. Guys, that's all the time we have for the calls today. Thank you guys so much. You know what happens now. This is the most important part of the show. Before we leave, I got to make sure that you guys are safe. It's a dangerous world out there. George, I'm so sorry, man. I don't control the weather in Montreal, okay? I'm just a comedian trying to make the world a better place, trying to get people to laugh. You know what I'm saying? That's all I am. That's all I'm doing. I can't control the weather. I'm not Storm from the X-Men. I'm just a young man with a heart of gold and the intentions of a beautiful, beautiful man. With a heart of gold. I already said that, so I can't say it twice. Don't forget to add me on WhatsApp. And join our Discord community, because it's a fucking beautiful place. A lot of people ask me, they say, Nemr, if you could give one message to the world, what would it be? If if you could tell them one thing. Nemr, I'm watching you live at 5:39 a.m. from Italy. Wow, man. I love you, Mo. Thank you. Some people say, Nemr, if everybody could listen to you, just once, what would you say? And I'd say, well, that's a lot of pressure right there. But I choose my words very wisely. I tell them, world. Can you hear me, world? Listen to my words. There's something I must say. World, listen to me now. I want you to take care. And always. Always what they'd say, I'd say, and always. Always what they'd say. And I'd say always. Wear underwear. Take care! And always. Wear underwear, for it is the gateway and the pathway to your soul. Only with underwear can you overcome your demons. Only with underwear can you become the which you were meant to be. Only with underwear can you become all that you were meant to be. Take care. And always wear underwear. If you guys want to go, you can go, but I'm feeling very inspired because that was such a beautiful experience for me. And if you guys want to hang out, I'm going to record a loop right now that I can jam over because this is a really beautiful thing right here. I like that tempo. 120. We're going to keep it clean. We're going to keep it on 120. Let's do this, guys. Here we go. I went too fast. Sorry. My tempo is on a different tempo, baby. Here we go. That's it. That's take number 1 right there. I'm going to make this super quick because I want to solo over this. And I have a feeling that we're about to do something very magical here. So let's go ahead and loop this. Let's add another track and re-record on top of it because that's how you do it. You guys know here, you've been listening to how I've been recording guitar. You know what's up. You know what's good. Let's go. Okay, and now watch what we do, my friends. We're going to go ahead and loop this one right here, and then we're going to pan the first guitar we recorded left, and we're going to pan the second guitar we recorded right. Don't tell me that doesn't sound beautiful. Let's add something to this. Hold on, stay with me. Stay with me. We got some magic coming, my friends. Ooh. Here it comes. I'm about to make it sound a lot better. Add some drums. Let's try to get a straight 120 drum beat and add it on top of this thing, and I think we're gonna have something very beautiful right here. So I don't know how many of you are still with me, but let me tell you, it's gonna be worth it. Absolutely not. No, 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 no. Definitely not. These are terrible. Where's rock? Go by genre here. See, jazz? Nah, that's not jazz. Where's rock? Rock blues. That's what's up. How the fuck is this rock and blues? I could play my own drums because these are all trash. Let's go by drums. And let's go by orchestral. Ooh. No. No. This is Eunice's call, right? Jesus. This doesn't fit at all. Let's try it. Doesn't fit at all. Doesn't fit at all, my friends. What are you doing to me? You know it doesn't fit. Don't lead me astray. Ooh, this is what I'm looking for. Where's the fucking snare? These are hilarious. I should just make my own beats. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. It's weird. I usually find so many more drums. Why is there so little here? I don't know if I'm doing something wrong. Instrument.
Come on and shoot.
What? What?
Come on and shoot. Come on and shoot.
Can you imagine? Let's just play to this. I can get a better sound than this out of the guitar. Hold on. find the scale here. That's it. I'm done. That was nice. I just jammed out to that for the first time, so excuse the mistakes. For everybody who stayed with me, I can't believe you guys hung out. I thought I was going to look up and there was going to be nobody here. But here you are, jamming out. That's beautiful, man. You have a good night, everybody. This is Nemr telling you to always take care and always wear underwear. Good night, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow.